I'm so excited about our reviewer today. When I'm on the committee and when the book was picked, which I didn't know anything about this book, I learned about the book and I thought there's only one person that should be allowed to give this review. And we got her, and so it's really, really exciting. However, a mistake was made because I did connect with Ann and asked her what I should say about her, and she said, "Oh, anything I want." And lo and behold, she may regret that. So I'm not going to tell you a lot of things about her. I'm going to tell you two things. I'm not going to tell you that she was got a master's in teaching and a master's in arts and a master's in leadership and policy analysis from Stanford. Not going to say that. I'm not going to say that she taught language arts and creative writing in 5 public school districts in Oregon, including Philomath. And I'm not going to tell you that she taught at community colleges, public universities, and 2 private colleges, including my alma mater, Lewis and Clark. I'm not going to say that she has 3 published anthologies of poetry. And I'm not going to say that she told me, "I used to consider myself a teacher who wrote, but now I consider myself a writer who teaches." What I'm going to tell you are 2 things. The first thing I'm going to tell you is I went and found a critic of hers, and I'm going to read some of the comments from this critic. This is a woman who graduated in one of Ann's classes back in 1996, I believe it was, and she told me these things. "I remember discovering a love for poetry in Ann's class. Instead of poems being difficult to understand and obscure, they became fascinating uses of language and wordplay. And I remember discovering my own voice in my writing and thinking. Ms. Staley made it clear in class and in her comments on assignments that she genuinely wanted to know what we thought, and she appreciated our thoughts and feelings. How we felt and thought about a piece of writing had value and importance. And I remember we held chautauquas in various living rooms of classmates' homes, and we passed around a stick, and we discussed deep topics like, what would you be willing to die for? And we learned from one another. In Ms. Staley's class, we were not just students who needed to learn, but budding adults with valid opinions worth expressing. I have such very fond memories of my time in her class." And that was my daughter Heidi, who was in her class in Philomath a while ago. But the other thing I'm going to share with you is, I think, very timely and important. So this is one of Ann's books, Instructions for the Wishing Light. And I want to read to you a little bit from it that says, "Why I Write." And this is Ms. Staley's voice saying, "Why I Write." "I write to remember, and because a wise person noted that writers live life twice because they write it down. I write because it focuses my thinking, slows it down, because I'm comfortable with a pen in my hand. I write because the past is not past, though I also write so I can consider the future. I write because it's the other half of reading, and so I can talk with those who have disappeared because of death or some other choosing. I write because it can bring on the other half of correspondence, because I like pens and stationeries and stamps. I write to support the post office. I write so I can consider my dreams, catch them, and analyze them. I like to write before I speak or listen to others' ideas, so I can figure out what I think about roses, horseback riding, baseball. I learned about this kind of writing and about metacognition at Bard College. I write because I'm not a specialist, but rather a left-handed teacher with a predilection for the underdog. I write because it's faster than driving, doesn't require money, often includes a glass of wine, and because, like Willie Nelson, when I started counting my blessings, my whole life turned around." Ann?
Thanks.
Thank you. It's fun to be here, and you have to know that I finished my remarks this morning, right on time to print them up. and bring them here to you. So the book I'm reviewing is called The Born Freeze, and it's written by Kimberly Burge. And the author of the book is a freelance writer, and she was a Fulbright scholar who spent a year in Cape Town, South Africa, and in one of the rural neighborhoods, Gugulethu, leading a Saturday afternoon writing workshop. Her book was published in 2016. And I'm going to open with a short poem written by one of the girls in the writing group about writing. To me, writing is me. It is me listening to what I have to say, to what I want to say, to what my heart says. And as a writer myself, I can't think of a better way to describe what writing is. Nelson Mandela has an epigram in the front of this book, and it reads, to the youth of today, I also have a wish to make. Be the script writers of your destiny and feature yourselves as stars that showed the way toward a brighter future. The title Born Freeze refers to those who were born after apartheid, which was the complete segregation of whites and blacks in South Africa. Under apartheid, the coloreds could not vote. Race determined everything. Where you could live, where you could go to school, if at all, what you could study, where you worked, and what kind of work you did, whom you could marry, where you worshiped God, what toilets you used, and what beaches or parks you could visit, what benches you sat on as you waited for a taxi, and which taxi you could take, in which graveyards you could bury your dead. After apartheid, these restrictions were lifted, but now, along with freedom, the Born Frees were inheriting a country awash in contradiction. Democratic South Africa has one of the most progressive constitutions in the world. Discrimination of every kind is prohibited. South Africa also has one of the world's highest levels of violence against women, second only to war-torn Democratic Republic of the Congo. It has been called the rape capital of the world. More than a third of girls have experienced sexual violence before the age of 18. Levels of child rape, including that of infants, are likely underreported. The country has the world's highest number of people infected with HIV, an estimated 5.6 million. Young women are particularly at risk. Of South Africans aged 15 to 24 who are infected with HIV, 3/4 of them are women. The Rainbow Nation has the third highest level of income inequality in the world, a yawning gap between rich and poor, greater now than during apartheid. 1/4 of South Africans live on $1.25 a day. Anna Swaina, and that's all one word, A-N-N-A-S-U-E-N-A, is the central character, and of the girls in the writing group, the one most interested in writing about her life. Her father abandoned the family. She has no memory of him. Her mother was a famous singer, so she was gone a lot of the time doing gigs in South Africa, and she came home and died of AIDS. Anna Swaina was orphaned at age 10, moving from place to place with family or family friends, house to shack, township to township. She was struggling to finish 9th grade, HIV positive, and terrified of falling ill. 18 years old when Kim met her in 2010. The group decided on its own name, and of course I'm not going to be able to pronounce this correctly, but Amazwi Ntombi. In Xhosa, that means Voices of the Girls. Anaswena had been dating Philo, who was 23, for 3 years. She spent most of her time living with him in a shack behind the home where his mother lived. His mother did not like or approve of Anaswena, felt she wasn't good enough for her son. I wonder what she thinks now. Whoa, big change. The girls wrote in blue spiral notebooks that Kim had purchased for them and had pencils with erasers, also purchased by Kim. She bought name tags to help herself get to know them better, more quickly, and had purchased 5 packages of cookies and liters of juice and cold drinks. She arranged for a classroom within a church there in the neighborhood. And the room was painted in warm colors, yellow, orange, and purple, the colors used in the sanctuary of the church. Chairs were arranged in a circle, posters about AIDS and other educational messages surrounded the girls. 15 girls arrived for the initial meeting. After the introductions were over, Kim said, "Just turn your brain off and write to the prompt." And here was the first prompt that she gave the girls on the first day of the group. In 2010, I believe I will, ... So that was the year they were living in. So here are some examples of the girls' responses to that prompt. 2010 marks the rest of my future, the end of my childhood, the beginning of new things, new challenges, new experiences, new friends, a new me. Another girl. I'm looking forward to the World Cup and believe it will do South Africa good and will make history for years to come. I've also come up with ideas of what I would like to do in order to make money. Another girl. I believe I will give back to people less fortunate than I am because they deserve a lot more and are all equal to us more fortunate people. In 2010, another girl, I believe I will be a better and a strong person. I believe I can make it through, even if it takes fighting temptations. I believe a new change has begun. And this is the prompt that we will write to today. So I'm going to have the librarians pass out pencils and a sheet of paper, small sheet, and I won't make you write for long, but I want you all to write. Just an aside, a very long-time friend of mine, like 30 years of friend, has just returned from South Africa. She did a Peace Corps stint, and she went at age 68. Her husband, after she taught school till she could retire, her husband didn't want to go, so she went by herself. And she's just returned from South Africa. I haven't talked to her yet or heard from her, but she's back in the States, so I'm really excited to see what she has to say. Ooh, I need one too, actually. So does everyone have a pencil? Thank you so much. I need a pencil too.
And what are we supposed to write?
I'm going to tell you, right? I'm going to give you the opening words and you're going to finish the sentence. Okay? How are we doing?
Paper.
We need more paper?
Oh, it's coming.
Okay. Thank you to all my friends who showed up. That's really fun. And all my new friends that showed up. Okay, do we have enough? Just barely, huh?
Paper?
You can tear it in half? Tear one in half? Okay. All right. So here's your prompt.
Get out this. Need any more paper?
You're going to write just for a couple minutes, okay? I used to make my students write like for 30 minutes. But you're only going to write for 2. Yeah, so this is your prompt. This is our prompt. In 2017, I believe I will ... So take a moment and finish up the thought that you're on right now, if you haven't finished already. Okay, what I want you to do is to share this with somebody who's sitting beside you. And just read it. Don't tell it. Read it just the way you wrote it.
You ready?
Everybody have a partner?
Yeah. So you well, you can read out loud to me and I'll read mine out loud. From Oregon? Yeah. That's a big one. You'll try to explain. Yes. Every every day. Yes. No, I just let my mind wander. So in 2017, I will become much more of an activist in politics. sure to understand the rules better. I will decide if I actually like to I know, it's all what I can do. Yeah, it's your 20 years. And then a few years or 7 years before that.
So,
You started it now. You need the stick. You need the stick.
So what I'd like to do is hear some of these. So if you read with a partner, you can volunteer them to read. We'd like to hear some of these. And if you read with a partner, which everybody did, you can volunteer someone to read. Or volunteer yourself. Someone want to go? Just so we can get a sense of.
I like yours.
Yeah, here we are together, a bunch of strangers. What are you going to do this year? All right. I know that girl. Yeah, I saw that. Say your name, Sarah, so people will know who you are.
In 2017, I believe I will begin the next chapter of my life as a writer, capital W. I will name myself in every way. As Sari, as a thoughtful, soulful, compassionate, humorous, loving person.
Can you read a little louder?
Sure.
Thank you.
I didn't know I was going to be reading this out loud.
Maybe you should come
As a
up here and
thoughtful,
use
soulful,
that.
compassionate, humorous, loving person who believes the world is waiting for my words. And knowing that releasing those words out into the world is how I will let go of secrets long kept, experiences silenced, and set my dreams free.
Good. Beautiful. So I happen to know that Sarah's applying to graduate school writing programs because I wrote her a letter. So I think you're gonna be accepted everywhere, and you're gonna have to make terribly hard choice. You got in?
To 2 places.
All right. Good job. Okay. How about someone else? You can volunteer a person. Thank you.
In 2017, I will, at 70 years old, continue to learn to live without my deceased love, learning to do more than function, perhaps learning to thrive.
Thank you. Thanks. Couple more? Someone else being volunteered?
I said, I will grow politically through resistance, grow older with its foibles, and resist that degeneration.
Good luck. Good. Yes.
Well, first of all, I tore my paper in half, so I had to keep it very short. In 2017, I believe I will finish my memoir for the OSU Press, Undercurrents from Oceanographer to University President.
All right. Thank you. I know you're over there writing. I see you across the street. Can pull in every day. One here. Yes.
In 2017, I will publish the first book on all the amphibians of the world. To do this, I will have to solve the technical issues I'm currently having. Yes, this book will be a success. It has to be, as it is the only one of its kind on Earth.
Hey, this sounds like a good year for us. Good things are going to happen. Anyone else like to read? Okay, well, that was the first prompt that Kim gave to the girls, and I thought we should do the same.
One question, are these
Yes.
girls all from the Sosa tribe? I haven't read the book.
That's a really interesting question.
Repeat the question.
are the girls all from the same tribe? They live in different places, so I'm not sure about that. I don't know what the answer to that question is. Does anybody who read the book have a sense of that?
They were all in the same town.
Yes.
So my guess would be that they are the same tribe, but I don't remember that it was
Said, yeah, I don't think they said, but I think your assumption would be my assumption as well.
I lived in South Africa for 10 years, so I would say,
Wow.
I would expect that there would be a mixture.
Okay, good. That's even better. Any other thoughts about that? Okay. Okay, so we're back to the girls. Kim collected the notebooks when the girls left. She didn't want them to go home and get lost and, whatever. So she would collect them and the pencils before the girls left. And this is what she had to say about Cape Town. The city seduces you like a holiday fling that leaves you craving a deeper relationship. I wanted more time there. To spend a year living in South Africa, I realized I did not need bravery so much as determination and a belief that bold moves are not solely attempted in one's 20s. My life now at 40, in many ways, reflected the one I always meant to create for myself. So I think when you're in that headspace, you are making all the right moves for yourself. Here is a poem written by another one of the girls, Gugulethu, and its title is Proudly South African. I am a young black girl trying to live life easily. I am a youth of today and also an adult of tomorrow. I am the history of this continent and also the future of this continent. I am the sister of brothers. I am a human trying to survive. I may be a victim, but one day I will be a survivor. I am a young black girl who is proudly South African. Now, I did a lot of writing with students, and I don't remember anybody ever writing like that kind of a patriotic, I am a member of a larger community. I mean, they would write about the school that they really liked or didn't like, but I don't remember anyone ever writing, I am an American, as an identity, as a poem about a statement. And that whole thing, I'm young now, but I'll be an older citizen as well. So initially, Kim wanted to have the writing circle meet on Saturday mornings. However, she was advised Saturday mornings are for funerals. Red and white striped tents were placed outside the homes of those where someone had died. Neighbors would circulate in the neighborhood, attending the funerals. After the service at the cemetery, hired buses bring everyone back to the family home where the tents serve as the living rooms. Funerals are elaborate, expensive, and a frequent occurrence, often landing families in debt. Another woman, Millie, led a group called the Orphans Group. And those girls got together. They began in 2002. And so they had been meeting for 8 years, the Orphans Group, before Kim came and started the other group. A cherished South African value is revealed in a concise word, Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U, which means a person is a person through other persons. My humanity is tied up in yours, as yours is in mine. Ubuntu speaks of interconnectedness, a need a demand to seek out, embrace, and rely upon the greater whole rather than the rugged individual. A reverence for the we over the I. But Ubuntu is also an expectation. If you have, you must share. One assignment with the girls was to have them make posters. And two of the girls worked with Sharon, who was sort of like a teacher's aide at times. She worked for the church. She worked at the church, and she would come in and be in the class at times. Here's what the poster said. It was Natombi and Onale and Sharon. We are a force to be reckoned with. Women with visions, goals, dreams. We have powerful voices, loud enough, all capital letters, loud enough to rouse or stir, yet subtle enough to ease the community pain. We are strong, focused, multi-talented, multifaceted women from different areas, different backgrounds, different families, but we are still of one blood. See us, hear us, feel us, fear us, understand us. In this group, the saying is true. I can't even really pronounce this, but it translates to, you strike a woman, you strike a rock. A long time ago, my second grade teacher told me, a book can take you to another world. The Born Freeze has done this for me. Thank you, and I'll take some questions. Anything, David?
Yeah, I don't know. Did this author write other books? Is this her first book? Or?
Well, it says she's a freelance writer, but it didn't mention any other books, so my guess is no other books. But she is a professional writer, yeah. Any other?
Where is she living today, do you know? She
a
wasn't,
good question.
or is she still in South Africa?
For some reason, I think she's in New York City, but I don't know if I'm confusing her with someone else. I could be.
Does it say on the inside of the book thing?
Good question. Good idea. Let me look.
Yeah, sure.
She lives in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Even better. Yes.
On a related issue, my wife and I spent 4 months in Kenya a few years ago in an area where female circumcision is still practiced as a way to become a woman. And there's an active movement, and I have friends involved in the group, which is using all of the ritual of that, but without the circumcision, and their T-shirts say, "Make me a woman with your words," in English on the front and in Kiswahili on the back.
Fabulous.
It's a growing movement, and so if you, the same area had, one of my students was facilitating an AIDS orphan group, of which there are many, heads of household who are like 13 years old, with both parents having died of AIDS. So I'm intrigued with the book, using the writing practice, and it goes beyond South Africa.
Yes, I'm sure it does. Yeah, there is no discussion about female circumcision, so I don't think that was a part of South Africa. Yes.
Did this author have any goals in her class for the young girls?
Goals? She had them write their own goals. And they were very nervous at first because they weren't sure they could write for 5 minutes. And she said, kind of put your brain on hold and just start writing. And I used to say it this way to students who didn't understand. You know how you can be listening to me, and you are, and you're making eye contact, but you have a couple other lines of thought going on right along beside it. You know, like, what do I have to do after this? And, you know, who do I owe a letter to, or whatever. And so that's what I say to people who are really nervous about writing. Just hitch it into that little voice going on all the time, and just write it down. Write down what you're thinking, and then you'll never stop. We don't stop. We dream it then at night. You know, it's never ending, that little loop of language. Yes.
Two things. One, there's a great YouTube video of these girls that puts a face and a voice on them. It's really wonderful. It's only 3 minutes. The second thing, I read one critical review of this book. It was much the same criticism Paul Simon got when he recorded Graceland in South Africa. The whole idea of a Western white coming to exploit the talents of Native. And do you know if the girls received any of the profits of the book, or a portion of the advance that she received?
That's a really interesting question. I do not know, but I wouldn't be surprised if she just gave it to them, all of it. Didn't keep any for herself. But I don't know.
That's not stated
No.
anywhere? Interesting.
Yeah, because this book will make some money. Yeah. I hope she does. Yes.
Yeah. How did she get these girls to come to her circle? I mean, how did she contact them?
Through the church. She made an announcement at the church where she had the room, the spare room. And the first time, 15 girls came. And then lots of girls went in and out. Because they moved around, because a lot of them were orphans or didn't have family and were moving around from family to family. So some came and went. Yes.
You know, what was the age range of these girls?
I think the youngest was 15, the oldest was 18, and Anaswena was the oldest. Yes.
You sounded like Anaswena made something really big of herself later, but those of us who haven't read the book don't know what that might be.
Well, we don't. I don't know either. You know, this book was published in 2016. She had stayed in touch with Kim, writing letters and on Skype, and Kim didn't say. Which is very interesting. You know, there's not really a follow-up to that. I don't know. Yes?
I have a question. The things that you read, the little selections that you read, were all very positive and inspirational. Was there any rage or anger or more darker emotions in their writings? Or not published?
Yeah, no, there were. And, but it's interesting, they weren't, she talked about it, but there aren't any poems about it that are printed. And those are the hardest poems to write, really. They're also the most necessary, but sometimes it's too personal. I mean, you think who Anaswena would be mad at.
Are the writings all poetry?
Yes. I mean, she tells more of the story, but the writings are poems. And they have a very particular, you know, every line starts with a capital letter. You know, that was just a very old-fashioned way to look at a poem, but, you know, so they were learning probably the British way. Any other questions? Yes.
A number of years ago, I had a relationship to the Agency for International Development, and a number of the projects that Oregon State had were focused on Africa and the Middle East. But on this committee that I was on for Agency for International Development, the common belief was that if you want to change a country, first educate the women.
Yep. Yep. I was in the Peace Corps in Brazil, and that was very much in our hearts when we went there too. It was very clear. They raised the kids.
Would you repeat what John said? Because I think it should be on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Could you say it, John? Could you just come up and say it into the podcast?
Oh, it'll pick it up. It'll pick it up.
Oh, all right. Could you say again what you said?
Well, I was involved tangentially with the Agency for International Development, and we had a number of projects at Oregon State, but I was on this committee, and the common belief in the agency was that if you wanted to change a country, first educate the women. Did that come through?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for repeating it. Yes.
Yes, you gave us a start by,
A prompt.
Prompt, how to write. What else was in the book? Was it a repeat of all of these that they answered, or was it her reflections on this, or?
Both. Let me look and see. There aren't a lot more poems. It's just more the story.
So her reflections on their writing is what it was?
Yeah. Yes. The titles of the chapters are very telling. Make the choice to live and not just exist is one. And you can wear your Gucci or you can wear Prada, your Prada. Paradise Road, which was the name of the song her mother made famous. A force to be reckoned with. Yeah. There's some great photos of the girls. I wanted to see more photos. I wish there had been a little central section of photos. I'd like to have seen each one of their pictures on who was who.
Did you mention her mother's name? She said she was a famous singer.
Yeah, she did. And
the only one I know from the area is Marion McCabe, but
yes,
sure
no,
it wasn't her.
it was not Marion McCabe, but it was. She did mention her name, and I'll look and when this is over, I'll tell you the name of her. I just can't say it right now.
Was it Emmeline?
Yes.
Emmeline?
Yes. Who said that?
What?
Emmeline. Emmeline.
Yeah.
Good memory. Holy Pete. You should be doing this review.
No, I didn't think
Emmeline is.
which used to be part of it.
It's like her last name.
Yeah. And when she saw her mother, well, her mother came and died. She took care of her mother while her mother died. She was almost unrecognizable as the person. There were pictures of her in a magazine or something that Anna Swaina got to see. Oh, yeah. So her full name was Anneline, Anneline. I just lost it. Malebo, Malebo.
I should have brought the music.
Oh, yeah, I thought about bringing some music. But then I thought I'll be dancing. Okay, any other questions? Yes.
How did she first go to South Africa and the author. How
A
was
Fulbright scholarship.
Oh, it was the Fulbright.
Yes. That's what she did, was work with these girls during her Fulbright year. Yes.
There were other tangential topics discussed in the book, such as the AIDS epidemic in South Africa. There were other things too. Do you remember one or two of those that you could mention?
I can't. Maybe, why don't you mention them? Why don't you mention them?
Oh, well, there was a lot of historical information about South Africa. I do remember that.
And women had been important in all of South Africa's changes, actually. Even though they weren't recognized so well, they were treated so well, they were recognized as agents of change there. Yes.
My book club just read a book called However Long the Night, set in Senegal, and it concerns a woman who started an agency there that educates the women to go around their own country and educate the rest of the women about female circumcision and how she has changed that entire country by educating the women to this issue. It was really an interesting book. There is one copy in the library.
Great, I just wrote it down. I want to read it.
It's called However Long the Night.
However Long the Night.
By Malloy, I believe. But it was really very interesting because I had never even heard of this agency. It's called Tostan, Tostan, I believe. And it was started by an American woman who went there in 1974.
Wow.
And she's still there. She's a resident of the country.
Wow, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. One more question.
Kind of a comment. I chaired the Fulbright Selection Committee for Africa for 3 years, where we recommended to the State Department which people should go. And I represented all of the sciences, and it was everyone else was the humanities.
Right.
And we would get, you could be a dentist or a writer or a poet or a dancer. Anyone could apply, but it was a very strong selection process. And I always felt very inadequate when people like this would propose, I'm going to go to South Africa and listen to 15 girls write. I just would always rank those at a different place. I think if I had read this book first, it would have helped me align myself with the humanities rankings, which I never understood.
Oh, scientists have a way of not understanding the humanities. Anyone else? Well, thank you for coming. It was a great book. My pleasure to do it.